Hello friends, welcome back to VOWIAS. Welcome to the discussion of the mains test, and this is part 2 of the third test. So as you all know, we are discussing the prelims and mains tests of Vision IAS. So the main intention behind these test discussion is that you will be able to revise these tests in a very short span, and also you will revise multiple times. Because at the end of the day, what is important for the exam? The most important thing is revision. Because most of us know the concepts and everything, but where the difference is created is the revision, the ability to think in the exam, the ability to recall, and for that the revision will play an important role. So for this, these videos will definitely help you, right? So let's begin with the sixth question. As in the first part, we have discussed from question number 1 to question number 5. So sixth question is basically on the contribution of the social reformers. So the social reformers question, you see, it's important both from the prelims as well as from the mains point of view. So the social reformers, if you see, you have Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Kesab Chandra Sen, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, etc. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he set up this Atmiya Sabha 1814 and later on the Brahmo Samaj in 1828. He denounced the polytheism. So remember this, he denounced polytheism, idol worship, the practices like sati, discarded faith in incarnations, criticized this caste system, gave primacy to human reason over any scriptures. So these are the things. Next you have Kesab Chandra Sen, who opposed prevailing caste practices and supported these intercaste marriages. That is his contribution. Next, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he pioneered higher education for women, worked towards legalizing widow remarriage, and fought against this child marriage and polygamy. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy also he worked towards banning of the sati as it is given here, and it was under William Bentinck he in fact under the regulation 11. This sati was banned and the widow remarriage was legalized at the instance of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Next you have Dayanand Saraswati. Dayanand Saraswati founded this Arya Samaj, and he is a person who led this Shuddhi movement to purify Hindu religion. The DAV institutions were founded by Hansraj, so they also come under this Dayanand school of thought. He encouraged a casteless and classless society, attacked Hindu orthodoxy, caste, rigidities, untouchabilities, idolatry, polytheism, the beliefs in magic, charms, etc. Next, Balshastri Jambekar. He was a pioneer of the social reforms by the journalism that he followed in Bombay, attacked the Brahmanical orthodoxy. Next, you have Jyotirao Phule. He organized a powerful movement against the upper caste domination and Brahmanical supremacy. He was a pioneer in women's education along with his wife Savitribai Phule. So they worked for female empowerment, women education and all in Pune. Next, Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda is one of the most powerful person whose impact can be felt even today. He is seen as an inspiration for the most of the youth. He believed in oneness and God and promoted two kinds of knowledge: the secular knowledge about how to work for their economic upliftment, and the spiritual knowledge to have faith in themselves and strengthen their moral sense. So this is Swami Vivekananda. Next we have Sri Narayan Guru Dharma Paripalana, started by Sri Acharya Narayana Guru among the Iswas of Kerala, and he considered and all these Iswas were considered as untouchables. So the temple entry movement is started by Acharya Narayana Guru, so that these untouchables will be allowed into the temples. Sri Narayan Guru held that all religions are same, and he condemned these animal sacrifices and other practices which are against humanity. He spoke against dizziness on the basis of caste, race and creed. So these are the various reform movements and reformists who work for the betterment of humans during the time of the British. Next, seventh question is with regard to Home Rule League. The Home Rule League, if you see, it is started on the lines of this Irish Home Rule League by All India Home Rule League. It was Annie Besant who started this in India. So this is basically to obtain a dominion status within the British Empire as enjoyed by countries like Australia, Canada, South Africa and New Zealand. And it was also the Indian response to the First World War. So if you see this evolution of the Home Rule League, the Home Rule League, it started after the 1915 by Annie Besant. So it was her campaign for this demand of self-rule in India on the lines of white colonies. The British gave this dominion status to these countries like Australia, South Africa and New Zealand, but they denied the status to India. So for this Home Rule League was started by Annie Besant. In 1916, Tilak started Home Rule League in May 1916, and he had various branches in the Maharashtra region, the Karnataka region, the Berar central provinces. Annie Besant's league had 200 branches working in the rest of the country, including Bombay. Annie Besant started this powerful propaganda campaign for the self-government and formed this London branch of her Home Rule League in June 1916. And the Indian Home Rule League started in the Madras in September 1916. George Arundel, B.P. Vadia, Ramaswamy Iyer, all of them were her associates. Later joined by Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Balabhai Desai, Chittaranjan Das, K.M. Munshi, B. Chakravarti, Saifuddin Kichlu, M.M. Malviya, Jinnah, Tej Bahadur Supru, Lala Lajpat Rai. All of them were part of this Home Rule League. So this Home Rule League started after this. It became popular after the moderates and the extremists came together. As you all know, the moderates and extremists, they split in the Surat split. Later, Annie Besant played a key role. In bringing both these moderates and extremists together. So it was at her instance that it was because of efforts like Annie Besant that moderates and extremists came together, and then the extremists started contributing. And then you can see Tilak, how he was at the forefront. He was at the forefront for the spreading of this Home Rule League. In 1919, if you see, in June 1917, in fact, Annie Besant and her associates were arrested, and agitation proved to be short-lived. By 1919, it petered out because of the lack of effective organization, the communal riots during 1917-18, and also the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms which came in 1919. All of them were the reasons for this Home Rule League to be washed away by 1919. And also after that, Gandhiji emerged as a leader, and his policies were different. Also, Tilak died in 1919. So because of all these reasons, this Home Rule League, also the Home Rule movement, also came to an end. If you see the contributions of this Home Rule movement, it altogether gave a new dimension to the freedom movement. It focused on educated elites to masses. It created an organizational link between the town and country. So when there was no leadership in the Congress, especially, Annie Besant played a key role. And also Annie Besant's contribution in taking this freedom movement forward cannot be forgotten. She is the first woman president of the Indian National Congress. And the Home Rule League created a generation of nationalists and prepared masses for the Gandhian style of politics and agitation. In August 1917, the Montagu and Montfort reforms were influenced. They got influenced by this Home Rule agitation, and later on we can see how diarchy was introduced at the provinces. Efforts of Tilak and Besant towards moderate extremist reunion at Lucknow 1916 also revived the Congress. The importance of Congress in Indian freedom struggle has increased post this 1916 Lucknow Pact. And also there were efforts that were made to get the Home Rule League recognized as part and parcel of Congress organization. So these are the various contributions of Home Rule League and how it has impacted the Indian national movement. So contribution of Home Rule League, you can write these things. So leadership you can write, leadership to Congress. Second, it worked as a charm, especially to bring these moderates and extremists together. That is another thing you can write. New dimension to freedom movement you can write, and also organizational link between the town and country. Various libraries were set up, education was promoted. So all these things we can write, and also the impact that it had on the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, because elections were introduced post that in this 1919, and also diarchy was introduced. So all of these things were done. So this Home Rule League had a tremendous impact on the Indian national movement, and also it provided leadership when there is a vacuum in this Indian National Congress, right? But post this Home Rule League, it was all the Indian modern history is all about Gandhi and his struggle. So next, eighth question is on Champaran, Ahmedabad and Khet satyagrahas. So Gandhiji, as you all know, came to India in 1915. He returned from South Africa. He believed that satyagraha, non-violence and involvement of masses, including the poor and lower strata of the society, is very important for the freedom movement. And he has performed various satyagrahas which proved to be successful. The first civil disobedience movement, that is Champaran satyagraha, so it was in Bihar at the instance of by the invite of leaders like Rajendra Prasad. Gandhiji went to Champaran. Here the European planters, they were involved in cultivation of this indigo, and they forced the farmers to cultivate indigo on 3/20th of their holdings, and it is called as the Thinkathiya system. So German synthetic dyes, they forced this natural dyes out of the market, and these people, they were not getting enough returns. So Gandhiji had this agitation at Champaran, and on the Gandhiji's demand, an inquiry committee was set up by the government to look into the grievances, and they abolished the Thinkathiya system later, and they partly addressed the grievances of the tenants as well. Next, you have the Ahmedabad and Khet Satyagraha in 1918. Gandhiji involved in two campaigns in Gujarat. He intervened in labor disputes in Ahmedabad, demanding better working conditions for the textile mill workers, and Gandhiji persuaded mill owners and workers to agree to arbitration by the tribunal. But mill owners withdrew from this agreement. There is a breach of agreement and was treated by Gandhi as a very serious affair, and he advised workers to go on strike. And Gandhiji decided to go on strike to rally workers and strengthen their resolve. The strike was later withdrawn, and tribunal got 35% increase in the wages as per the workers' demand. So it was quite a success for Gandhi, and Gandhi joined the peasants in Khet Satyagraha, asking the state for the remission of the taxes due to the failure of the crops. Because when there is failure of harvest, the farmers will not be able to pay the taxes. The Gujarat Sabha played a leading role in the agitation. The appeals failed, and Gandhiji advised the withholding of revenue and fight unto death against it. The government issued instructions directing that the revenue should be recovered from the peasants who only could pay. So all these proved to be successful. All these things tested the leadership of Gandhi and his methods of struggle. In Champaran, Gandhiji went into villages with the clothes speaking in their vernacular language, dealing with local causes and involving masses. So what Gandhiji has done, his major contribution is he involved the masses in the freedom struggle. He gave them that sense of identity. He gave importance to them. But before Gandhi, it is all about the elites. It is all about the elites, be it moderates or extremists. Both of them failed to include all the masses. That was their major issue. And Gandhiji involved all the masses in the freedom struggle. Gandhiji gave them a reason to fight. Gandhiji showed them the path to fight. The group of local intellectuals like Rajendra Prasad, Rajkumar Shukla, J.B. Kripalani, Indulal Yagnik came in close contact with Gandhi and worked as his emissaries among masses. And these initiatives set reservoir of goodwill and experience that encouraged Gandhiji in February 1919 to call for a nationwide protest against the Rowlatt Act. So these are the various things. Right. So let's move on to the ninth question. The ninth question is on the causes of the World War I. Causes of the World War I. So as I told already, the world history is important for 2023, and definitely questions are going to come, because in 2022 there are no questions from this. So in 2023, definitely questions are going to come from this world history. So you have to be prepared. So here the World War I, if you see the factors behind the World War I, first is the Moroccan crisis of 1905-1906, where Italy, Spain, Russia, Britain, they supported France and later got control over the Moroccan banks and the police, and was a diplomatic defeat for the Germany. So at the end of the day, if you see the world wars, they are nothing but the struggle for the colonies by these imperialist countries. So that has created the tussle, the major tussle. So that is the Moroccan crisis 1905-1906. Next, the Bosnia crisis of 1908, where Austria-Hungary, they annexed the Bosnia from the weak Ottoman Empire, which led to the humiliation of Russia, and then it began militarization. The Balkan Wars of 1912-1913 further fueled this crisis. So Moroccan crisis, Bosnia crisis, the Balkan Wars. So these are the major wars or major issues. Next, you have the triple alliance between Italy, Germany, Austria, and the dual alliance between France and Russia. So there are two camps came to be. They came head to head, and this has created all the issue, you can say, this tussle. Next, the militarism. Starting with France, Europe countries engaged in the arms race in the name of self-defense. They developed fear among the nations, especially between Britain and Germans. Next, the countries of Europe, they competed with each other for the market access and for the raw materials. So as I said, this is nothing but, these world wars are nothing but struggle for their imperial ambitions. You can just name like that. These are nothing but their fight for the market access, their fight for the raw materials, especially in countries like Africa and Asia. So because at the end of the day, it is these colonies that are making them rich. It is these colonies that are making them rich, and they have created these world wars because they ensured that these colonies also involve in their wars. Otherwise, why should India involve in the world war? There is no reason for India to involve in a world war unless or we can say the only reason why India involved is because we are ruled by the British. So we were involved in the war by the British. Otherwise, we don't have any stake in these world wars. So the world wars are the wars fought between the European imperialist countries for their rights, or you can say for their market access and resources in the colonies especially. So it is a competition between countries like India, China and Malay regions. The countries left behind in this race like Germany, Italy, Japan, they pursued these colonial imperialist policies to secure their interest. The nationalism in Europe affected relations between France and UK, France and Russia, Germany and France and UK, the Habsburg Empire and Serbia. So this nationalistic tendencies also increased, and all tried to safeguard their own self-interest by resorting to alliances and militarism. So this further created a lot of tensions because of the trust deficit and all. So these are the reasons. So next we have the permanent settlement system. The permanent settlement system is the land revenue system introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793. There are three land revenue systems, as we all know. Three land revenue systems. First is the permanent settlement system or the zamindari system. Next you have the raitwari system, and next you have the mahalwari system. So these three are the most important land revenue systems, and this is important again from the prelims as well as from the mains perspective. So this land revenue system introduced by Lord Cornwallis in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Under this, the company's share of revenue was fixed with the zamindars, and it was made, and the zamindars were made hereditary owners of the lands under their possession. So land became a commodity for the first time under the British. And the reasons for the introduction of this permanent settlement system. First is to develop a class of landlords who are loyal to the British. Also, this is to reduce the corruption, as the officials were not able to alter their assessment at will. It is also to ensure ease of administration on the part of the company, because when the zamindar will take the land from them, so it will become easy for the British to collect the revenue, because it is then the responsibility of the zamindar to collect this tax from the people, or to you can say in simple words, to extract these extra revenue, and give a small share to these zamindars. It is very easy for the British. It is also to ensure fixed and stable income to the company, because the zamindar who has taken the land has to give a minimum sum to the British every year, a minimum sum which is agreed. And you can say if there is 12 portions of revenue that was collected, 11 portions have to be given to the British, and only 1 portion will remain with the zamindar. So 11 by 12 have to be given to the British. So this 11 by 12 also should be of a minimum value, and the revenue should not reduce this minimum value. So also there are these sunset clauses. If the zamindar failed to pay this revenue, the lands will be taken back. And then the next thing is that it is expected that the property ownership would introduce the zamindar to make larger capital investment, because now it is the responsibility of the zamindar, and the zamindars are responsible for increasing the revenue as well. And also the exploitation of peasants. This is the main consequence. So because this land revenue system had a great consequence, had a larger impact on the entire Indian society. The greater consequences, if you see, the exploitation of peasants, it was very common. The decline in agricultural productivity, because the zamindar's sole focus was on maximizing revenue and took little interest in the investment. Also, there is a rise in this absentee landlordism, because under it, the new moneyed men from Calcutta with no local connections, they bought lands when the zamindars struggled to meet their revenue obligations. So the absentee landlordism increased. There is increase in the social inequality, because under this system there is this feudalism which strengthened, and the upper sections and the slavery in the lower sections of the society. Also, the commercialization of land started for the first time, which did not exist in Bengal, and also in the Bengal. So, and also the local agriculture, and also in the local agriculture, the people were forced to cultivate these cash crops for high revenue like cotton, indigo, jute, etc. So these are the major consequences and causes for these for this zamindari system. So the main causes, if you see here, to develop or the main causes why this system was introduced is, first thing is that there has to be these loyalists to the British. Second thing is reduce corruption. Third reason is stable income. Fourth reason is the capital investment. Next, consequences. Consequences is exploitation of peasants, decrease in agricultural productivity because zamindar did not focus on capital investment. Third is absentee landlordism increased. Fourth is increase in the social inequality because of the increase in feudalism and all. And next is commercialization of land. All these things are the reasons. Reasons and consequences, right? So these are the 5 questions for the day. Tomorrow we will discuss from question number 11 to question number 15. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. And before I leave, a small information: the document that we are using for the discussion is the summary document prepared by VOWIAS. You can subscribe to these summary documents by from our Telegram channel. The details are given in the description. The Vision Prelims test series, the Vision Mains test series, Vision Monthly magazine, all of these summaries are available to you. So you can utilize this option and you can enhance your revision, right? So that's it, guys, from my side. I'll see you again tomorrow with another 5 questions. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. Jai Hind.